"You don't need this house," my dad said flatly, sliding the papers away from me. My sister smirked like she had already won. "You barely belong here anyway." I froze, my fingers still resting on the edge of the table as the lawyer cleared his throat. The room felt too small, the air too heavy, like even breathing needed permission. Then he adjusted his glasses and said something that made everything stop. "There's another document you should all see." My name is Danielle Carter. I'm 34 years old. I work as a freelance editor, barely holding things together after years of unstable income and long nights that never seemed to lead anywhere. I was always the quiet one in my family, the one who stayed when things got hard, the one who showed up when no one else wanted to. While my younger sister chased praise and attention, I stayed home and took care of our mother when she got sick. I cooked, cleaned, managed her medication, and sat by her side through nights that felt endless. After Mom passed, I thought something might finally change. I thought maybe my dad would look at me and see everything I had done. But instead, I became invisible, like those years meant nothing at all. I wasn't rich, I wasn't impressive, but I had something they never noticed. I had patience, and I paid attention to everything they tried to hide. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, hit that subscribe button. I know what it's like to give everything and still be overlooked like you never mattered. Tell me, have you ever been treated like you were just there to be used? Drop your story below and click hype if you're ready to prove them wrong. The will reading took place in a small office that smelled like old paper and dust. The clock on the wall ticked loudly, each second stretching the silence thinner. My dad sat straight, confident, like this was just another decision he'd already made. The lawyer began reading, his voice careful, measured. Then it came. The house, the one place I thought held every memory that mattered. My dad didn't hesitate. He said it would go entirely to my younger sister, Emily. "She has a future," he added, not even looking at me. "You'll manage somehow." Emily leaned back in her chair, smiling like she had been waiting for this moment her whole life. "You've always been comfortable doing nothing," she said, her voice sharp enough to cut. I felt my chest tighten. Years of caregiving, dismissed in a single sentence. I opened my mouth to speak, but nothing came out. The lawyer hesitated for a moment, glancing at me, but continued reading as if it was all normal, as if this was fair. I pushed my chair back, ready to leave, my face burning with humiliation. That's when the lawyer paused again. "Before you go," he said quietly, "there's a second file." The room shifted instantly. My dad's confidence cracked just for a second, and I noticed. It didn't stop there. One by one, the betrayals piled up like they had been waiting for this moment too. My aunt spoke first, shaking her head like she was disappointed in me. "You never aimed high," she said. "Emily worked for her future." I stared at her, wondering if she had forgotten every time I skipped work to take Mom to the hospital. Then came the second blow. A cousin mentioned hearing that I had been living at home for free, doing nothing. My stomach dropped. Emily had been telling people that, rewriting the story of my life like I was just a burden. I turned to her, my voice shaking. "You said that?" She shrugged like it didn't matter. "It's not a lie," she replied. Then my dad added something that made it worse. He admitted he had already planned to sell the house after transferring it to her. This was never about giving her a home. It was about money. I tried to argue, to remind them of everything I had done, but they dismissed me like I was overreacting. "You're being dramatic," my dad said. That's when something inside me changed. I stopped pleading. I stopped trying to make them understand. Instead, I just watched, quietly. What they didn't know was that I had been keeping records, small things at first, strange financial documents left on the kitchen counter, conversations I overheard when they thought I wasn't listening. I remembered the tension between my dad and Emily during Mom's illness, the arguments about money that suddenly stopped when I entered the room. I didn't say anything back then, but I never forgot. I kept emails. I saved copies of bank statements. I noticed patterns that didn't make sense, transfers that didn't match what we were told about Mom's care. It didn't feel right, but I stayed quiet. I waited. And over time, those pieces turned into something bigger, something undeniable. They thought I wasn't paying attention. They thought I didn't matter enough to notice. But I did, and I had a plan they never saw coming. This wasn't the end for me. It was just the beginning. The only person who ever seemed to notice something was off was my cousin Lena. She had always been seen as the outsider in the family, the one who didn't fit their image. Maybe that's why she understood me. She pulled me aside after the will reading, her voice low. "Something isn't right," she said. I nodded. I know. She told me she had once seen paperwork related to the house that didn't match what was being said now. That was all I needed to hear. For the first time, I wasn't alone. Lena didn't try to comfort me with empty words. Instead, she told me to dig deeper, to stop letting them control the narrative. While we prepared quietly, my dad and Emily grew louder, more confident. They were already talking about renovations, about selling the house, about what they would do with the money, like it was already theirs. I didn't argue anymore. I didn't react. I just listened and waited. Back in that same office, the lawyer finally opened the second file. The room went silent again, but this time it felt different, heavy, serious. He began laying out the documents one by one, emails, signed statements, financial records. My heart was steady now, calm. The truth was finally coming out. The documents showed that Emily had been manipulating my dad during Mom's illness, convincing him to move money, to trust her with decisions she twisted for her own benefit. But it got worse. There was proof that funds from a joint account meant for Mom's medical care had been taken and used elsewhere. I spoke then, my voice steady. I didn't say anything before because I wanted the truth to come out here. My dad looked at me like he didn't recognize me. Shock replaced his certainty. Emily tried to interrupt, her voice rising, denying everything. But the documents didn't lie. The lawyer stated clearly that the will could now be challenged due to fraud. And just like that, everything shifted. I wasn't invisible anymore. The aftermath wasn't loud. It was quiet but heavy with consequences. Legal proceedings began, and the house was frozen in dispute. My dad looked lost, like he was finally seeing everything he had ignored. Emily, for the first time, had no control, no charm left to hide behind. People started pulling away from her, the same ones who had supported her before. As for me, I didn't fight for revenge. I didn't need to. I fought for fairness, for the truth, and that was enough. I walked away from that office stronger than I had ever been. I didn't need their approval anymore. I didn't need them to see me. They thought I had nothing, but I had the truth, and in the end, that was more powerful than anything they tried to take from me. If your family ever tried to take something that was rightfully yours, you know how this feels. Being overlooked hurts, but betrayal like this cuts even deeper. Share your story in the comments. I want to hear what you went through. Subscribe to stand with others who face the same. Click hype to help this story reach people who need it. Did this story hit home? Let me know by liking the video and sharing your thoughts below. Click hype to help this story find others who feel the same way. Your support matters more than you think, and your voice matters here.